Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishatan Vitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrsabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we will continue singing Bhaktivinoda Thakura's songs, one song. If Dharma Gupta's there, I wanted to ask, because I was surprised to see it says Siddhi Lalasa, song number 9. And as I remember, last week we had song number 2. And I thought the last song of this section.
This is number 3, Guru Maharaj. Maybe it's a mistake. I made it. Maybe I wrote 9 by mistake, but it's 3 for sure.
It says
Siddhi Lalasa 3. This is the last one.
Okay. Well, it's still not the song I was expecting. Okay, good. And after this, I wanted to have some in memoriam, as probably all of you have already heard by now, the very sad news of His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu's departure some days ago. I've been trying to adjust to this the last few days, and I think we all are. One of the dearmost Vaishnavas of our society, I would say worldwide, the twin brother of Jananivas Prabhu. And I think there are, some of you may want to also speak something in memoriam. I believe Jalangi wants to speak something, and also Mandali. And if anyone else wants to speak something briefly, you're welcome to do so. I would have something brief to share, something written which I did not write. One very nice devotee in Mayapur has written. So like that, and then we'll see how time goes. We can, of course, read some Chaitanya Charitamrita. Also, yes, we have a topic. Let's see if she's here yet. Yes, Frajali Lavati just wrote to me. She has a topic to discuss that we can talk about. We may say a kind of philosophical question. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can continue. And let's see, I would also have something to read in memory from the book Yamuna Devi, a life of unalloyed devotion. Memory from Sridham Mayapur. But let's see how the time goes. But let's begin with Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song, translation of which, to begin with the first time, is as follows. Let's see. Oops.
Excuse me, Guru Maharaj, I just want to clarify. The Siddhi Lalasa number 3 is basically in Gitamala number 9. So it's also part of the Sharanagati as far as I understood. So just that third part of the Siddhi Lalasa.
Okay. It says here that it's in Sharanagati as Bhajana Lalasa song number 3. So whatever, that's okay. And maybe we have already sung it. That's also okay. So translation: for serving the lotus feet of the charming daughter of King Vrsabhanu, I will become a sheltered maidservant of her maidservant. Indeed, I will live only for the happiness of Sri Radha, and I will always endeavor to increase her joy. And the second verse, I will understand within my heart that Krishna feels happiness only when Radha is happy. I will thus never, ever dare become desirous of abandoning Radhika's lotus feet to be with Krishna myself. Third verse, all my associate sakhis are my supreme well-wishers. My best friends, and they are the teachers of my lessons in conjugal love. Simply by following them, I will serve the lotus feet of Radha, which are just like desire-fulfilling trees. I am forever partial and prone to favoring the party of Sri Radhika. Prone means inclined, tending to do it. I will never even look upon those persons who have abandoned her entourage, whoever they may be, and regardless of what they preach. Sounds like there's some politics in the spiritual world. There's different parties. Transcendental party spirit. Okay. Okay, let's see. still have a sour note. Okay, a little higher pitch today. Vrsabhanu-sutā Carana a-sevane hoibo pālya-dāsī Vrsabhanu-sutā Carana a-sevane hoibo pālya-dāsī śrī-rādhāra sukha satata sādhane rohibo ami prayāsī Sri Radha sukha satata sādhane rohibo ami prayāsī śrī-rādhāra sukha krishna-kshetra sukha janibo manete ami Sri Radha sukha krishna-kshetra sukha janibo manete ami rādhā-pada chadi śrī-krsna-kshetra kabuna hoibo kami rādhā-pada chadi śrī-krsna-kshetra kabuna hoibo kami Shakigana mama paramasurit jugala premera gura Shakigana mama paramasurit jugala premera gura tad anuga hoje Saribo Radhara Charana Kalapa Taru Tad Anuga Hoje Saribo Radhara Charana Kalapa Taru Radha-pakachari Jai Jana Se Jana Jai Bhave Se Bhave Take Radha-pakachari Jai Jana Se Jana Jai Bhave Se Bhave Take Amito Radhika Pakapati Sada Kagunahi Hari Take Amito Radhika Pakapati Sada Kagunahi Hari Take Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Haribo 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 Go Haribo Nitai Gor Haribo 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 Gor Haribo. And again, the translation with some looking at the Bangla. This is again showing lots of anticipation for Siddha, for perfection, a longing, Lalasa. And we may notice a kind of progression from the previous song. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is anticipating himself being in Navadvip and becoming completely absorbed and ecstatically absorbed in service to Krishna in such a way as to be overwhelmed and to be unconcerned with external circumstances, social concerns especially. He saw himself rolling on the banks of the river Saraswati, the Jalangi. He saw himself begging from the outcasts, so-called untouchables, and so on. And now he is anticipating being situated in Vrindavan, perhaps Goloka Vrindavan, in his eternal identity as an assistant to Srimati Radharani as a manjari. So he says, for serving the lotus feet of the charming daughter of King Vrsabhanu, I will become a sheltered maidservant of her maidservant. Vrsabhanu-sutā, Suta means daughter, Suta means son, Sutā, Charana-sevane, in service to the feet of the daughter of Vrsabhanu. Hoibo, I will be, pālya-dāsī, I'll be a dāsī who is pālya, which from pālana, like Gopala means protection. A palaka is a protector, a Gopala is a cowherd. So pālya, to be protected, one who is under someone else's shelter. śrī-rādhāra sukha satata sādhane rohibo ami prayāsī. Indeed, I will live only for the happiness of Sri Radha, śrī-rādhāra sukha, the sukha of Radha, rādhāra, satata sādhane, in this constant engagement, practice. Satata, I will always endeavor, sādhane, for what? Rohibo, that's I will remain, I will keep. Ami prayāsī, I will endeavor. Literally, I am one who endeavors. I am one who makes this effort. What is the effort? To please, to give happiness to Radha. The second verse, śrī-rādhāra sukhe, krishna je sukha janibo monete ami. I will understand within my heart, janibo, I will know or I will understand. Monete, in my mind or in my heart, ami, me. What will I understand? I will understand within my heart that Krishna feels happiness only when Radha is happy. So śrī-rādhāra sukhe, in the happiness of Radha, krishna je sukha, the happiness which is je, which is of Krishna, is the happiness of Radha. I will thus never, ever dare become desirous of abandoning Radhika's lotus feet to be with Krishna myself. Rādhā-pada chadi, that's chadiya, Shri krishna-kshetra kabu na hoibo kami. So I will not be na hoibo kami. I will not be one who desires. Kama means desire. Kami is one who desires. I will not be a desirer. When? Kabu, at any time, or kabu na, at any time. Shri krishna-kshetra, to be in the association of Krishna. Having given up, chadiya, rādhā-pada, the feet of Radha. So I will never do that, he's saying. I am determined I will be a servant of Radha. Why? Because I know that what pleases Krishna the most is to please Radha. Then, Saki Ganamama Parama Suhrit Jugala Premer Guru. All my associate Sakis are my supreme well-wishers. Parama Suhrit. Saki Gana, the assembly of Sakis, of female friends. Mama Saki Gana, my female friends. Parama Suhrit, they're my well-wishers. Suhrit is a friend in the heart, you can say, a hearty friend. And Jugala Premera Guru. My best friend, and they are the teachers of my lessons in conjugal love. My lessons. Yugala Premera Guru. Tat anuga hoje, 'sevibo Radhar charana kalapa taru, kalpataru. Simply by following them, I will serve the lotus feet of Radha. Sevibo, another future tense, I will serve. Tat anuga, being a follower of them. This is so Sanskritic. This is Bengali that's sort of 75% Sanskrit. Tat anuga. The tat here refers to the Sakis. Tat anuga hoje, being their follower. Sevibo radhar. This I will serve. Of Radha Charana Kalpataru, the wish-fulfilling tree, which is her feet, Radha's feet. And the last verse, Radha Pakka. Paksha in Bengali would be Pakka. Paksha. Radha Paksha Chadi, Chadiya, Jejon, Shejon, Jebave, Sebave Take, I am forever partial and prone or inclined to favor the party, the paksha of Radha. I will never even look. Amito Radhar Paksha Pati Shada Kabu na heri take. Heri means to look or to see. Kabu nahi heri take. I will never even look on jejana, sejana, those persons, whoever they may be, jebave, sebave, whatever their mood is. Here translated as whoever they may be and regardless of what they preach. Jebave, sebave, take. Take is, how would you say, staying or in the place or in the position, residing. Amito Radhika Paksha Pati Shada, let's see. Pati, Paksha Pati. Not sure about that Pati. It seems like it's feminine. Anyway, a member of that party, being inclined to that party. Amito Radhika Pakshapati Sada. I am always in Radha's party. So don't tell me about those who have abandoned Radha's party. Radha Paksha Chadiya. Now, I know someone's going to ask, does it ever happen that someone who is in Radha's paksha, in her party, would leave her party? Not that I ever heard of, and I would say this is a rhetorical sort of a expression. You know, even if somebody would leave, I would have nothing to do with them. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is expressing his anticipation and his determination, and he's seeing himself as being sheltered amongst the assistants, the Sakis, the assistants of Srimati Radharani. So that's very nice. He sees the assistants as his teachers. And so he's honoring them. He's honoring Radha, of course, he's honoring Krishna by recognizing Krishna's preference. She's not thinking, oh no, I want to serve Krishna directly, because she understands that's not the point. And his anticipation suggests that he is expecting that this is all going to happen. It's not something like, oh, it would really be nice if, but I won't really expect it to happen. No, he's expecting this is all going to happen. And you get the sense that it's going to happen soon. He's looking very much forward to this because he is having no other purpose. He has no other, no distracting purposes in his life. So it's very powerful. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, so as I said before we began singing, for anyone who has joined us since then, we want to observe for some time some in memoriam, some remembrance, some honoring of a very dear devotee, His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu of Mayapur, who has just departed a few days ago, having gotten the condition of COVID, and some are saying apparently his the care of his doctors in the beginning was not as it should have been. Whatever may be the case, the reality now is that he has departed. And all over the world, devotees are in quite a state of shock because he has been such a fixture speaking in a, that doesn't sound very positive, but in a positive sense, he has been, maybe I should say ornament. He has been one of the two glorious ornaments, the twins, Jananivas and Pankajanghri in Mayapur. I myself find it hard to think of Mayapur without them since the first time I came to Mayapur was in 1978. They were already there, already doing the services, the deity worship, which they have been doing ever since then. These 4.5 or close to 5 decades. But much more than that. They have served the Vaishnavas not just in Mayapur, but all over the world. They've been models of the humble and quiet and determined service that we imagine to be, that we aspire for. It's like so many of their qualities, when one looks perhaps at Shastra and some qualities are mentioned, they're described, and the devotees think, oh yes, like Jananivas and Pankajanghri Prabhu. So they're like living legends, we say in English. And so it's something that will take some time for us to adjust to, if it's possible, Pankajanghri's departure. And at the same time, of course, we also celebrate what they have given us, and we celebrate what, in particular, Pankajanghri's departure, the fact that it's in Sridham Mayapur, the fact that he has done all the service he has done and been with devotees so long, who can doubt that he is now fully in the shelter of the Lord? Hare Krishna. Now, at this point, let's see. I think the first two, yes, Chalangi, are you there?
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Would you like to say something briefly?
Yes. Please accept the most humble obeisances, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
My most humble obeisances to Pankajanghri and Janani Prabhu also. Through your mercy, Guru Maharaj, I went to Sridham Mayapur, beginning 90s. And the first devotees I met was Janani and Pankajanghri Prabhu in Pujari room. I was really enthusiastic Pujari helper and a little bit Pujari. And also we were preaching a little bit. So I think only therefore Panchatattvana Sangha and Radha Madhava was very kind to us. I do not see any other reason. They, from the beginning, they treated all of us who went to the Pujari room as brothers and sisters. For the first time, I could see that there is no distinction, that you are Mataji and you are Prabhu. No, I felt really that I am a soul. They were so merciful as only Krishna could be. Therefore, as we were hearing today on Mayapur TV, memories, it's really nice to hear all these stories. And my little stories which I have, they are really confirming how Nrsingadev and Nityananda Prabhu especially were caring for us, smashing our false ego. Once I asked for the service of polishing Ananta Shesh. Actually, just please give me any service. And Pankajanghri Prabhu, he gave me this service of polishing. And I was really giving all my strength. It was for like 2 hours polishing and polishing. And when I was almost ready, he briefly looked at what I was doing and just smiling said, "Oh, Mataji, you are polishing your false ego." So I knew that was true. I was very proud that I have this service, that I know how to polish and so many other things. Thereafter, the next day in the morning, I was expecting now it will be darshan and I will see my wonderful service behind Lord Nrsingadev. I was just really proud that I did it. And when Pujari opened the door of the altar, I saw there was no Ananta Shesh at all. And I knew at once, oh, Krishna again is confirming, just forget your false ego, as if he did it consciously. And pujaris, they forgot, as if forgot to put Ananta Shesh. Another time, we were going very often. It was when we visited Mayapur, I don't know how many times, every 2-3 years. Every time we went to Pujari room, and once we came from from Jagannath Puri, and in Jagannath Puri we had quite a lot of kirtans and harinams, and we became very sick. So when we came to Pujari room, we were not able to even speak. It was such a cough. And when we paid obeisances and were trying to say something, these two wonderful brothers, they smiled, and one of them, I don't know even exactly who of them, but I think it was Pankajanghri Prabhu. He said, "Mataji, too much kirtan." And I was like, wow, how can he know? Only Nityananda Prabhu could know, because they were not in Puri, and I was not informing them that I was singing there. And it was the next, I think Jananivas Prabhu, he opened the cupboard, and he took out the jar with Candice ginger, and he came to me and he said, no, he wanted to give it to me, and I wanted to take it from him, but he said, no, open your mouth. And he started to through inside of my mouth this ginger. I felt like, the best doctor, the best brother, the best father. They were so merciful. There was one more really nice story, but it's quite long. I don't know if I have time to tell this story. It is about smashing my false ego on the Shivaratri day. So I can stop here or I can continue as you desire.
When you say it's a long story, I guess the question is how long?
No, not so long.
Okay.
Okay,
No,
I say very
ahead.
shortly. I tell it very shortly. Just on the occasion of questions and answers in Pujari room once, I went to Pujari room in the morning and I was asking for to make the date when I can come, and they invited me to come in the evening. But because it was Shivaratri festival, there was Lord Shiva, Shivalinga also. One of twin brothers told me, Mataji, you should bath Lord Shiva and ask that he removes your false ego again. And I did it, and I was really praying from the heart. And in the evening, when I went back to this place, there were few devotees who were also invited, and we were really received like special guests. They gave us, they answered all the questions, but they also gave us milk and some Mahaprasad. And I was drinking, touching the cup with my mouth. Everyone else did it from the air. And at the moment, everyone was washing the cup in the place there in the Pujari room. The cups were clean, but my cup was not clean. So when I did it, Pankajanghri Prabhu looked at me like thunderbolt, and he said, Mataji, you shouldn't do it. And I was so shocked. And he told me, you have touched, it's dirty. Now You have contaminated everything. So in this shock, I just could only say, please give me a cow dung. I will purify everything. And then he said, such Matajis as you, nothing can purify. You have cow dung between your ears. Now I know it was Lord Shiva also and Nityananda Prabhu. But that moment I just started to cry, paid my obeisances, and I ran away from this place full of shame, full of all things which were going on my mind. I was ready to just to go to Ganges or to Jalangi River and commit almost suicide. It was like such a shock. But when I ran out of the temple room and was going slowly towards, I was still near to the temple. There were many devotees. I was going and crying, but then I heard from behind, Mataji, stop, where are you going? And then I saw it was Pankajanghri Prabhu. He stopped me and he said, I'm really sorry. Where are you going? And I said where I am going. And then he said, your mind will go with you. Why do you have such thoughts? Just forgive me. So I was so happy just to hear that he forgave me this offense, and that was all. Later, I was always very careful in this cleanliness in the pujari room and many other things. But I wanted to say that for sure, Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajanghri Prabhu were always representing Nrsingadev, Panchatattva, Nityananda Prabhu, or Radha Madhava. Next day, just I don't know how and why, Jananivas Prabhu, he gave me, as if accidentally, as if knowing what I'm going through this humiliation, he gave me silver tulsi leaf from the lotus feet of Lord Madhava and beautiful picture of Radharani. I have this. I can. No, I cannot show it. Oh, I can. This is the picture with some Maha from Radharani also here. Oh, and this is lotus feet tulsi and the Radha Madhava flute that we received by Vivaha Yagya, this gift. And as many of you I know, we have so much mercy, even like such small things like dedication in the book from both of the twins. I know many devotees who have these dedications on the books. Jagannath also. Oops. But anyway, I have also here. Just wanted to show. This is a picture I was cultivating to keep it always with me for many years. And that day also Pankajanghri Prabhu, he gave me this wonderful dedication, which I think it's for everyone. Always remember there are no problems in Krishna consciousness. Even there are so many problems, but when we are conscious of Krishna, he is present with us. All the problems are, like Prabhupada said, like a little bit water in the footprint of the calf. They're so small or whatever. And this is the picture from the Pujari room when we came first time. So first time we have seen the Both Brothers and Mataji, which was with me, she did this picture to always remember them. It's around 91, I think.
Mm.
So thank you so much for being tolerant, patient, and for hearing these memories.
Thank you. And there was no need to tolerance and patience were not, there was no demand on our tolerance and patience, because it's good to hear. It's good to hear about the twins. One thing you mentioned, sometimes, maybe most of the time, it's been hard to tell who is who of the two twins. It took me years really to to be able to tell them apart. Who am I talking to? Am I talking to Jananivas, or am I talking to Pankajanghri? Sometimes I would just be talking and not knowing which one I'm talking to. It took me quite some time to be able to distinguish between them.
Someone told me once that they were doing it very consciously. They were like taking the mood of the brother just to cheat.
Well, okay, maybe. Okay, thank you, Jalangi. Now, Mandali, do you want to say something?
Yes, I'm here. I would like to first thank Jalangi Devi for her beautiful memories, and offer my respects to everyone present. Thank you, Maharaj, for inviting me to share in honor of Pankajanghri Prabhu. I hope the devotees won't mind that I'm not on camera. I'm feeling a little bit ill, so please bear with me in the form of the picture of my Radharani. So I wrote something down, some of the memories, so I will try to read as pleasingly as possible. What inspired me the most about Pankajanghri Prabhu was learning from him and his brother Jananivas Prabhu about Krishna in his deity form. I attended the Mayapur Academy in Mayapur, where they were the principal teachers of Nitya Seva, and I met Pankajanghri Prabhu during his travels to the temples in the West. Learning how to perform daily rituals of worship from the two Pujari brothers meant receiving a deep insight into learning how to relate to Krishna as a real transcendental person. I remember Pankajanghri Prabhu would describe some of the qualities of Krishna in his deity form, and would complete one after another of his descriptions with what a wonderful person, he would say like that, what a wonderful person. And to Pankajanghri Prabhu, Krishna was a wonderful person, and he inspired the students to discover this wonderful person by learning how to relate to the deities with deep respect, affection, following the prescribed rules and regulations of the Vedas. But these rules were meticulously observed only in service to the sweet, happy, humorous, affectionate, and beautiful transcendental relationship one may aspire to develop with Krishna in his deity form. If a student had any initial anxiety when approaching deities in their altar room, for example, fearing the consequences of perhaps imperfectly dealing with an incarnation of God in personal quarters out of inexperience, Jananivas and Pankajanghri Prabhus would immediately dispel that fear by their relaxed, humorous, and at the same time deeply respectful manner. Pankajanghri Prabhu was especially famous for his humorous dealings, but the humor was always in good taste, and presented with affection and a certain shyness. There was no fear in the deity room where Pankajanghri and Jananiwas Prabhu were present. Some of my experience of observing Pankajanghri Prabhu's service to the deities, and of course to everyone whom he considered as related to the deities, as far as I could understand, and therefore worthy of all respect and affection, was that he was meticulous, steady, dedicated, kind to others, non-judgmental, respectful to everyone, attentive to details, always ready to help, offer prayers and save us for others' benefit, and for which he never took any payment for himself, and that he was free of ordinary anxiety or any kind of aggression or sense of superiority. I distinctly remember never feeling even a tinge of a sense of superiority coming from Pankajanghri Prabhu. As a student, even though intelligently I knew I was not very qualified, just by being around him at deity worship school and learning, I would all of a sudden get so much confidence and the sense that he felt I had just as much right and qualification to approach the deities as he did, and that he felt I and all the other students were even more qualified than him. And this is the quality of a Vaishnava. It was wonderful to experience how much he desired the students to outperform their teacher. I'm forever grateful for the time I spent learning from Pankajanghri Prabhu and very much look forward to seeing Jananiwas Prabhu again. And I just remembered this morning during my japa meditation, that for those who live in Croatia, very interesting inspiration is that Pankajanghri Prabhu told me once that Lord Nityananda likes to enjoy bathing in Croatian honey during Abhishek in Mayapur. So that was my little offering. I hope it was pleasing.
Thank you. How long was the deity worship course? How long were you there for that course?
Well, it was about 4 months, I would say. 4 months long. The whole school program I attended, actually.
And did the two twins, did they have, so to say, specializations? One of them was teaching one aspect, another was teaching another aspect?
I actually remember both of them teaching the bathing and dressing and Abhishek mostly, and there were a few other things I would have to look in my notes where they appeared as lecturers. These items were actually demonstrated by them as well, but in some other courses they appeared as lectures, mostly to set the mood, and of course they would come to the testing of the cooking skills as well, and comment on the prasadam. And interestingly, I also attended another course that they were facilitating in around 2007, when the academy still wasn't completely established. That was, I believe, the course that you kind of, Maharaj, presided over. And it was just the Nitya Seva, arati, bathing and dressing, a very brief month-long course that preceded the academy. And that course was the course where the twin brothers were more involved, even than in the academy. And they were kind of in charge, actually, of that course. So that was also very, very nice and inspiring.
Nice, very good. So, okay, thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Certainly now you can cherish those memories
Indeed.
in relation especially to how you've learned from how they've been your teachers in
Indeed.
deity worship. That's nice.
Very, very inspiring every day.
Mm-hmm. I know that Nrsimha Prabhu, when we were first talking about having a program, a course, and he developed it into a whole school for deity worship and all things related. It was always kind of a primary aim of Nrsimha Kavacha that the twins would be involved.
Right.
Because all the time he had this very strong conviction, appropriate conviction, that they have received all blessings from Srila Prabhupada. And so whatever their understanding of deity worship is authoritative, is conclusive, is definitive for ISKCON. And so he always emphasized that.
Yes. Yes, it was incredibly inspiring and pleasing to learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly.
Good. Okay. Thank you, Mandali. Now, Dira Lalita sent a little note. She would like to say, you would like to say something also, Dira Lalita?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I would like to share my memories of Pankajanghri Prabhu. As you said, Guru Maharaj, it was really shocking to actually seeing him first being ill and then leaving this planet. Well, I'd like to share something from last year. Actually, it was in 2020 in February that I got a mercy to go first time in my life in Mayapur. And as I'm not a sociable person, I most of the time don't know what to do with myself when I'm amongst many people or devotees. So I was praying to do some little service for devotees there if I could. And it so happened that I've collected a few prayers from devotees here from England who had difficulties either with their children or with themselves or health issues. One of them was Dhananjaya Prabhu. So I have written their personal prayers on a piece of paper, and I was thinking, I will approach Pankajanghri Prabhu because the year before, Jai Lakshman, my husband, invited him for prasadam to our place, and it turned out that both of them got initiated together in 1973 at the Bhaktivedanta Manor, but none of them could remember the actual day. They didn't know was it just after installation of Shri Radha Gokulananda or before. So they were going back and forth talking about that, but they couldn't remember the actual. They don't know what day that was, and I had these prayers with me. Obviously, first time in Mayapur, I was totally overwhelmed, and I was thinking, I can see him. Probably if I take darshan of Lord Simadev. So I did, and I bought a little present, and I wanted to make sure that this present goes to Pankajanghri Prabhu so I could have some rapport and ask him, how do I go about these prayers for devotees? And he said to me, come and see me next day, 10 o'clock in the morning, and in their quarters. Obviously, I was with a group of devotees, and I didn't know where the quarters were, so I was sort of searching and going behind and this and that. And somehow I found the quarters, and he said to me, just ring the bell and wait. I said, okay. So I rang the bell, waited, and I also had some donation that I got from the UK, things that I've heard from a long time ago from Mother Kalangana, what the brother twins liked to offer to the deities, which were like, you know, dates, those soft middle dates and apricots and stuff. So I got those things together. Obviously I was just looking for any mercy I can get because I believe personally that I really don't have any qualifications. So if I just get some tiny bit of mercy and I get that connection with Krishna. So I went upstairs and I sat down and I just waited. I rang the bell and I just waited. And Janani Prabhu came out first, and one lady, Hema, from the UK, she gave me some honey. It looked quite black, but she says that's from a Greek island called, I think, Salakis or something like that. And she said it's made by monks. I said, oh, that's good. I said that would match well. Came from monks, giving it to monks, and I was thinking of Lord Nrsimhadev, you know. So it sort of tied it all together. And while I was waiting for Pankajanghri Prabhu to give him these prayers, Janani Prabhu, being so kind, he came out and he sat down and he said, what's that? I said, that's honey from Salakis, the island. I hope I'm remembering the name of the island correctly. And he said, oh, did you know that our last holidays, his and Pankajanghri Prabhu's was in 1968. We went to this island. And he said to me, did you know that in this island, not female are allowed? Even there are no female animals. They're only males. And I've never knew that before. And I said to him, so I said, it must be that Krishna wanted this very bona fide honey. I said, I'm so happy that I've done some, just actually bringing the honey over, nothing else. And I was thinking, you know, this is like historical moment. Dear Lalita, ask some significant question to this exalted devotee. Don't just sit there and, you know, roll your thumbs around, or, you know. And I asked him a question. I said, here are so many deities. I said, which is your favorite? And he said, and he was very, very shy, speaking very quietly, very pure. He's like a little shy boy. That's how I saw him. And he was saying that his favorite are Shri-Radha Madhava deities that Srila Prabhupada worshipped. He said these deities are most dear to me and that I care for most. It's them. And then Pankajanghri Prabhu came out and he asked me to read every prayer separately to him so he understands each word, how it's written, and for who's that person that the prayers are for. He was just listening to it very sincerely, very carefully. And I was thinking, oh, these devotees are in good hands now, because he's gonna, because his heart is already with Krishna. He's just gonna, you know, read that out to Krishna. And he said to me, he will perform these prayers, offer those prayers for each arti on each day. And I was very grateful. I was very grateful. He gave me Mahaprasad and he gave me a necklace of Lord Chaitanya. And they were like huge, big beads, a green color that I have now around my gonita. Just honoring it on a daily basis. And once more is that one more little thing that I wanted to say is that I think in 2013 or 14, he came and he would come every 5 years to extend the passports. So one day he would go himself to extend his passport, and the next day he would go again to extend his brother's passport because they look alike. So he would come every 5 years. He would come every 5 years to extend the passport for because his brother wouldn't come. He didn't come to England.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's a passport, Lila. And in 2013, I think that was the year, I was still actively doing service at the Bhaktivinoda Manor, and I was told to take care of Pankajanghri and his family. And there were his sisters there. There were about, I think, 11 members of family that he had. I think he had 4 or 5 sisters, I'm not sure. And those sisters came to visit him in the temple at that time when he was at the manor. And I was just so grateful to have that service, just to give them prasadam, and just to be like a very natural. And I think when Jalangi mentioned before that Pankajanghri Prabhu didn't distinguish between male and female devotees in that way, I think because they were the youngest siblings and they were adored by their sisters who were all older. So they have this like brotherly, sisterly sort of relationship. I mean, that was just my feeling. Very down to earth, gentle, simply spoken, but deeply surrendered in the heart. And I also had a little opportunity to listen to Pankajanghri Prabhu of giving the little advices to pujaris when he came to visit Krishnavanta school. They also have deities in Krishnavanta school here in England, and he came to give advices on how often to dress the deities and how to go about it. So they are. I was listening to that, and then I was thinking, how can we help Pankajanghri Prabhu? And I wanted to be like an example. That's when my false ego shines. Apologize. So I decided to give monetary donation to him so that everybody can see that I was the first one to give. And then after that, everyone else was giving a donation. As we know, our brahmacharis and devotees, the Guru Maharaj and devotees who are completely surrendered to the Lord, we should, I should take care of them as much as we can on this other way, which is the material way. So, and then I kept bringing every morning at the Bhaktivinoda Manor dates and some avocados, and he was just really, really happy to receive it. And then I asked him, please give me a mercy that I go to Mayapur. He said, you have never been to Mayapur? Well, get your husband and come. You have to come. And then because Jai Lakshman is finding difficult to travel around India nowadays, but he was just so lovely to just let me go. So I appreciate all the memories, and I can only imagine how Jananivas Prabhu is feeling now. He'll probably be quite lonely because they were all the time together, and he probably needs as much support as he can get. Oh, thank you for listening, and all glories to Shri Pankajanghri Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Dira Lalita. Very nice. Okay, I just now forgot what I was going to comment, but it must not have been very important. So that's how it is. I would have something to read from a devotee in Mayapur named Raivata Prabhu. He is, Daityesha knows him, the devotees from South America, Argentina and Uruguay know him. He's originally from Uruguay, but he's been in Mayapur for, I don't know, several years now, engaged as an architect. He's a professional architect. And just the last few weeks, he has also contracted COVID and has had a quite serious condition, but he's reported in recent week or so that he is getting better now. The worst is over, but he is still, he's not, as we say, out of the woods yet. But he wrote a wonderful offering to Pankajanghri Prabhu. So he's addressing, this is a letter to him. I won't read the whole thing because it's a bit long. He describes the great anxiety the devotees have been in the days prior to his departure, the intense prayers they were offering, the day and the night before. He says that the night before he left, there were storms and even hail. And he says, I understood from this that probably it means Nrsingadev wants to take Pankajanghri with him. And fortunately, he says, he allowed him to stay through the night so that he would depart at a most auspicious time. He apparently left around noon, midday, which is, what is it called? The Vijay Muhurta, very auspicious time. And then he describes the funeral in some detail. But let me see, okay. However, you were spared that night. In other words, he didn't leave that night, just to leave us at noon next day, when the sun was up in the sky, illuminating everything. At the perfect muhurta, at the time of the duty of the brahmanas, of chanting the Gayatri mantra, at that time you, the crest jewel and embodiment of all Brahminical qualities, left your body gloriously. Surrounded by Vaishnavas chanting the holy names in the heart itself of Sri Antardvip in Mayapur Dham. It couldn't have been more perfect. Like Grandpa Bhishmadev, Grandpa, after having battled to the very end, you took off your body by the free will of Krishna back to his eternal realm. Now you are there in the eternal manifestation of the all-glorious Mayapur, enjoying the transcendental pastimes with the Lord and his eternally perfected associates. Behind, you left a distinctive thread of sorrow and lamentation in separation of the Vaishnavas. Unbearable to hold up our feelings, we all followed you, your transcendental procession from the senior brahmacharya ashram to your last darshan in the temple of the deities. Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha-Madhava, Shri Shri Prahlad Nrsingadev, and your beloved spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, everyone had the chance to say his goodbye in the Radha-Madhava courtyard. You were so gracious as to allow everyone to have a final glimpse of you and make you a final homage. And then he goes on to say, because of his own condition, that is Raivata's condition, he was not able to join in all of this, but he could watch everything on Mayapur TV. And he goes on to describe more about the event of the funeral. And then he says, as Prabhupada Anugas, we know that in his inner drive, Srila Prabhupada had defined two main programs for ISKCON. One, the establishment of the widespread distribution of transcendental literature destined to alleviate and educate humanity at large in spiritual life. And two, the development of Sridham Mayapur as the worshipable center of the world and worshiping center of the world for the next 10,000 years. And then he goes on to say, and I want to focus on the second point to which you, that is Pankajanghri, had been alongside with your eternal associate and companion, Jananivas Prabhu, a milestone toward that glorious goal. You have done so much. Nobody can put in words what you have done in establishing the standards you had set out in deity worship, training pujaris and designing so many wonderful festivals to be held every single year for the pleasure of their lordships. Designing the complete pujari floor of the TOVP so the future of that worship could be further expanded to degrees of purity we still have to pursue. What an amazing task you have done in there, planning it for years. And again, Raivata is himself an architect, so he's very conscious of this aspect of Pankajanghri, that he was also a designer, designing the pujari area floor of the new temple. And he says, on one occasion, I had the privilege of having to meet you in your room to seek advice on a service the Mayapur Master Plan Office had requested me to do, which was regarding the development of a conceptual master plan for the area of Rajpur. Rajpur is the place where Lord Jagannath, the Jagannath temple, is some couple of kilometers away from Sridham Mayapur. Being a confidential servant of Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra, you were very precise in your thoughts and details of that holy tirtha. You astounded me with them. You even clarified for me that in Shimantadvip, in that area, a small temple honoring Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj should be established. You kindly explained to me that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had instructed that in each of the 9 islands of Sri Navadvipam, a temple of each personality that had achieved perfection through one of the 9 main processes of devotional service should be erected. In Shimantadvip, Shravanam is the process, and Shukadev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit, the deities to be established. And he goes on with more details of what Pankajanghri Prabhu advised or instructed to Raivata about temples in other parts of Navadvip. And he also said that this place, that is the Jagannath Mandir, is an area suitable for erecting the Vaishnav Samadhis in the future. So of course, as time goes on, there will be need for more and more Samadhi shrines. And the question has come in the planning of Mayapur, where are they going to go? We discussed your desires of erecting a new temple for Lord Jagannath, whose architecture should be a smaller version of Jagannath Puri's. You knew exactly where it will be going to be erected in the future. And then he says he gave him so many further practical details for his planning service. Hare Krishna. Does anyone else want to say something, however brief, in memoriam for Pankajanghri Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. This is
Atmanivedana. Yes. Hare
These
Krishna.
are my humble obeisances.
Subhangada. Can we see you also, Subhangada? Yes.
Hare Krishna. I sent you a message, but should I say something, Maharaj?
Please do. Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm not keeping up with the messages. Now I see it.
Okay. So I was appointed to speak on our behalf, although possibly she'll chime in, although she said she won't. Subhangada, that is.
Okay.
So she and I, we would visit India semi-regularly over summers. Not so much in the last maybe 6 years or so, but before that we were going, I think something like it was every other summer or something like that for quite a few years. And we became friends with Pankajanghri through association with Rohini Sutta Prabhu, actually. And I knew Rohini Sutta Prabhu because, he's the amazing book distributor and, guru in Europe. And he's so nice. And he would come to Boston, where my temple, when I lived in the temple in the 90s, he would come visit there a few times. And he called me Space Bhakta back then, because like when I would drive the car, he was like, why are you going here? All these kind of things. So he was always heavy with me, and my false ego is not conspicuous by its absence. But for some reason, when Rohini Sutta Prabhu would chastise me, it didn't bother me ever. And or almost ever. And so when I knew that Rohini-sutā Prabhu was spending about half of his time or something like that in India, mostly Vrindavan, but also Mayapur, well, we just asked him if we could have his association, and I'm probably speaking something going back maybe 11 years or something. I'm not sure, something like that. I really lost track of the time. And so, 2010, around there. And so Rohini-sutā Prabhu, he totally remembered me from before. He also knew Subhangara from her time on Sankirtan in Europe. And she also thought so highly of him, loved him like so many devotees have. And so he would take us out on parikram, and he sometimes would coordinate it in Vrindavan and in Mayapur, and he would coordinate it with, he has a lot of Russian, or I guess Ukraine over there, I don't really know the difference, disciples from over there, and he would have some of them join. So sometimes, and it was sort of he is a very intimate group of disciples who stick with him over the years, maybe 10, 20 who would go. So they would go on the parikrams. So I'm just trying to convey this very warm relationship, because I mean, the kind of person I am, I don't necessarily have these really sweet, warm relationships with so many devotees, let alone very senior devotees. But I had that with Rohini-sutā Prabhu, and Rohini-sutā Prabhu, when we were going to go on these parikrams, say for over the course of a week and a half, 2-week period every other day, one of those summers, he introduced us to Pankajanghri Prabhu, and Pankajanghri Prabhu joined Rohini-sutā Prabhu. So it was the two of them leading our small group, which ranged over maybe 3 summers, from either 5 or 6 of us to 15, 20 of us, depending on the trip and the year. And so that same sort of very sweet friendship, and don't get me wrong, we're very respectful of them, but and they were clearly our senior, but this very sweet relationship, it was the same mood that then we had with Pankajanghri Prabhu. And it's just, for me, it's very unique. And Pankajanghri they get along great, Pankajanghri Prabhu and Rohini-sutā. So Rohini-sutā said, Pankajanghri, how about you join us in leading them? And so so I think Pankajanghri would be more guiding around different locations to go, particularly in the Mayapur and thereabouts. And he's just so nice. And there was a lot of joking, fun times. Back then, my shastric knowledge was much more expansive than it is now, at least my memory of verses and things. And so I remember back then, and sometimes I would ask like sort of good questions maybe. And I remember, and not in a sarcastic way, Pankajanghri, I remember he called me Smarty, because he has his British accent. He called me Smarty, and then Rohini-sutā, and then they both did, because I asked a couple questions in one class that sort of found like some sort of, juxtaposed two different points that didn't seem necessarily to sync up, and he brought them together. So that was something that I remember. Something else I remember that was Subhangara is going to share the screen of a couple of pictures where when we were going on parikram with a group of about 15 devotees, and show the picture now, please. And Pankajanghri, you want to say it? Yeah. Okay. And Pankajanghri Prabhu said, okay, in Mayapur, when you lie down or when you sleep, you're offering, obeisances to the holy Dham and to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, something to that effect. And so am I successfully showing the screen to you all right now? Oh, good. Okay, so here's a picture. You'll see Pankajanghri Prabhu right in the center of this, right? And he's guiding everyone to lie down, and everyone, it's you can just see from the mood here, you don't necessarily see everyone's faces, but you see the expression. Everyone is so relaxed and happy, but there's nothing frivolous here whatsoever going on. And I think my guess is that is part of that maybe captures something unique about his mood, that there's nothing frivolous about him at all. I think we heard, so Subhangara read something that someone said about Pankajanghri Prabhu, how there's no prajalpa, and yet it's so personal, so fun, so friendly, and so deep. And that's, you know, and then what's the thing you said about someone said about them, that when you think of the different qualities of a Vaishnava, all the different qualities, Pankajanghri Prabhu really, you know, and Jananivas, they personify them all. And another funny thing about this, and I've never experienced this with anyone in my entire life, is that while I really feel a deep and a connection with him, like I really like him and miss him now. And I refused yesterday to watch a video that Subhangara wanted to show me of their birthday celebration in late March, because she was crying, and I thought if I see that, it will make me realize more what happened and I'll get upset. So I didn't watch it yet. I'm sure I will. But you know, so he's so loved. But yeah, I don't know, I'm losing track, but I think I said what I wanted to say. So he's, oh yeah, what I wanted to say was, with someone who I've had such a deep feeling for and relationship, there's the funny thing about it is I can't tell the difference between him and Jananivas. So I don't know anyone who I connect with so well, but then if I see him, I'm not sure if it's him or not. So that was kind of funny for me. So that's all. I wish you, all of you, love and happiness in Krishna consciousness, and wish you well in serving the devotees and your leader or your guru, His Holiness krishna-kshetra Swami, who I offer my most profound respect for and hope to get the blessings of. Hare Krishna. And Subhangara joins me with this, and she's humble and timid, so she's not speaking now.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Atmani Vedana and Subhangara, both speaking to us from New York, from Long Island, right?
Yes. Well, actually, we're kind of back and forth from Manhattan and Long Island. We happen to be in Manhattan right now.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And also, I would the mysterious A on the video. That's us, and we're not trying to keep our presence hidden. It's just that sometimes when these computers are used for certain business purposes outside of these most holy spiritual association, the name comes up when you log in. So it says, like, you know, Atmani Vedana when I log into some conference with business people, and then probably I shouldn't do that. So so Subhangara thought the strategy is to put A there. So I apologize if that wasn't good for others. Hare Krishna.
That's okay. Thank you. Okay, let's see now. I think what I need to do now, before we go on, and we just have about 20 more minutes, is to ask your understanding for me to disappear for 1 minute, and I'll be right back. And in the meantime, you can all say hello to each other. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, all of you, for these wonderful stories. Personally, each one of you. Haribol. Hare Krishna devotees, if you don't mind, I would like to add some small anecdote, or maybe not anecdote, some nectar from the lips of Pankajanghri Prabhu. Once we were asking some questions, and then we were asking why we should not wear red or blue in the temple. And Pankajanghri Prabhu, jokingly, he said, Jatila wears red. So Radha Krishna, they are really afraid of this color. They run away. And Balaram, he wears blue. So Radha Krishna, very according to the etiquette, they go away also. I was just saying some words which Pankajanghri Prabhu share about wearing red and blue colors
Red
in the
and-
temple.
Oh, yes.
One is because of Jatila and another because of Balaram.
Yes,
Because Radharani and Krishna, they don't like this color.
they run away. Good, thank you. Okay, so let's see now. Akenshana Balaram and Lalitamrita, you want to say something also.
Thanks, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, I just have a couple of memories, one from the past and one most recent. But for me, it was always very kind of funny when the devotees said they couldn't recognize between Janivas and Pankajanghri Prabhu. For me, it was so obvious, maybe because I live here so long and see them every day. It was so obvious how they're different, not only by character, also by physically. And I remember even once Pankajanghri Prabhu, he approached me in the temple when I was standing in front of Nrsimhadev, and he told me, I thought you were Janivas. You look exactly like Janivas from behind. That time I still had the saffron, and I used to wear chador like pujaris. So from behind, he thought I'm his brother. So we both laughed. At another occasion, I think it was in Serbia, some summer camp, I asked him to wash his dhoti, and he protested, what if I go to hell? This is not good that somebody serves me. But then told him, you should be merciful to me because I will go to heaven for sure if I wash your dhoti. Then he agreed. And the most recent thing was during his sickness, I was actually in the group with the doctors, these international doctors. They had a WhatsApp group. And I was there attending the meetings. They had a tele meetings and interviewing also Pankajanghri Prabhu while he was in Kolkata in a hospital. And I can say they did their best, whatever their knowledge was, and they were top experts, and they did their best, but maybe they're not so open to some alternative therapies, but that's because of their education. So I can say for sure that they were sincere and tried to help whatever they could.
Mm.
So one of the last interviews they had with him that I was there on the Zoom, they asked him, how do you feel? And he said, I feel like I have 3 bodies, not one. Everybody was surprised. What do you mean by 3 bodies? He said, one body that is painful. This is this body. Then I have another body that is not painful. And then 3rd body is myself. That was his experience at that moment. And yeah, one more thing I remember that he didn't want to be intubated. He was insistent that he wants to stay conscious. And although in the last day, doctors again some of them pushed that he's intubated, and they asked Janivas Prabhu, and he said no, because this was his wish and it should be respected.
Yeah.
And as you said, he passed in that Abhijit Muhurta, which is very auspicious in the midday. It's a Muhurta of victory.
Yeah.
And one very peculiar and interesting thing that doctors noticed, because they had live cameras non-stop on him and on the instruments, on the monitor that was showing the vital functions.
Mm.
And when he passed away, they noticed that the pulse, the the pulse was 108. And they went back, and for a few hours they looked at the live video. The video was recorded on YouTube. For hours, the pulse was on 108, which was just amazing. And I thought this is a sign that he must have gone back to Godhead. That much I have. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Lalitamrita, did you want to share something also?
Well, I can say that I was most inspired by them to attend the morning program here. After some time, I was thinking, oh, but this morning program is becoming, it's too repetitive, so maybe I don't need to go every day. But then I was a bit inspired by Pankajanghri and Jananiwas, because I noticed they come every day and they stay full program from Mangalarati to Bhagavatam class. And for them, it's so enthusiastic. Every day they offer obeisances. They put Prabhupada on the, how's it called?
Carrier.
Carrier. Yes, and they're every day there for 40 years, 50 years, and every day they're so enthusiastic. And I just couldn't understand how is that possible that somebody does every day these rituals with full enthusiasm. So this was inspiring for me to attend also morning program.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So Akinchana Balaram and Lalitamrita are speaking from Sridham Mayapur. So it's good. It's good we're hearing from you. What is the condition now? Is it still rampant spreading of COVID?
As far as Mayapur is concerned, I'm actually connected to the hospital, and I know when somebody is tested positive in the hospital. So every day, 3 or 4 cases. Some of them are local, some of them are devotees, but not so many at the moment are testing positive. Some devotees are still recovering, but at the moment the picture doesn't look so bad. I don't know for the outside of Mayapur, but here it's a kind of village, it's a rural, it's a spread. And in the temple also only 50 devotees are allowed for the morning programs, so the rules are strictly followed.
Okay, finally they're following the rules. Finally, okay, good. All right, well, what to say? Thank you so much. And thanks to all the others of you who have spoken. Well, we do have 10 more minutes, 9 more minutes, if anyone else wants to say something. I was going to, I don't know if it's enough time, Rajali Lavati, it's a different subject also. Rajali Lavati, do you want to bring up your topic?
Maybe next time. This was so nice hearing about the memories of Pankajanghri Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that another time. And also, Odarya Chandrika was all ready to speak on. Maybe you can, Odarya Chandrika, just say a word about what it is you would like to speak on, and then we can save for next time.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Yes, the same here. Can you hear me, Guru Maharaj?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I suggest also for the next time, because my topic is about how to listen, because this is something from your lecture, from your class of Saturday Sanga. So my mind caught that about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how was listening Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for 7 days without saying a word. So somehow I connected with my professional work, and I found tips we can it can be in a help regarding listening. So this is what I would like to share next time, of course.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we can do that. Well, I think we can all offer congratulations to Kaveri. She is now Mrs. Kaveri. How to say? She had her wedding this last, well, it was a week ago, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. Thank you so very much for your blessings and the blessing of all the Vaishnavas. We live for your blessings. So thank you.
Yes, all the best. All the best for you in Boston. The Boston Brahmins. There's an expression, Boston Brahmins.
And we had a sweet, very short darshan because they have regulations in place. They're very careful, which we appreciate too. But we had a moment before we presented our wedding rings and all that, and then they give us some Mahaprasad and garland, and then we also, just afterwards the wedding, we had a bunch of roses and things that we didn't use, and I said, like, let's just take it to the temple. And it was Vanamali Prabhu, the temple president, said, like, please come have darshan, and it was very beautiful. It was very, very nice.
Nice. I'm just now remembering the deities there. What are their names again? Oops, have to unmute first. Unmute. You had it. No, still not unmuted. No. Okay. Anyway, what I wanted to say was that the small deities of Radha Madhava in Mayapur and the deities of Radha Krishna in Boston and the deities, and I don't remember their names either, in Berkeley, California are the same. They were made at the same time from the same mold, I guess. And so, yeah, for me, we heard that for Pankajanghri, or is it Jananivas, the small deities in Sridham Mayapur are favorites. And I can understand why. There's something special about them, and there's something special about the deities of Boston and also Berkeley. Yeah, we don't hear you somehow. You don't find the mute button. It's on the bottom left. Anyway, okay. That's all right. Okay, now I'm going to, this is a little out of my usual style, but if you don't mind, Prema Sarovara, Hare Krishna, I just want to ask if there is any news about the printing of our book.
Oh, Guru Maharaj, I didn't have their information. They didn't give me information that we can, what? How to say?
To print.
Yes, whether they have finished printing.
Okay.
I don't wait. I think maybe next week. Next week. Mr. Wan said generally they will finish printing within 1 week, but we have several holidays during May.
Oh, I see.
So 5 days holidays.
Oh, okay.
From May 1st to May 5th, 5 days holidays. So I think it's a delay because of the holiday.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, the holidays have been because of the celebrations of
Workers' Day.
Huh?
Workers' Day.
Workers, yes.
Workers' Day. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So I think next week. Next week, I think.
Okay, but it's not that that some problem came up.
Problem?
No problem.
It's not that some difficulty happened.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's good. I was getting a little worried because I wasn't hearing from you, but now I understand.
Yes.
Because of the holidays.
Yes, because of holiday. So Miss Van said he said it takes 1 week to finish printing, but I think because of holiday it will be delayed.
Yeah. Okay.
Please don't worry, Gurumara.
Okay, I won't worry. Thank you. Well,
Thank you.
I think that brings us to the end of our Saturday gathering, and as always, I'm grateful for all of you coming together, spending this time. I'm glad that we could speak about, spend most of the time just speaking about Pankajanghri Prabhu. For me, this is very purifying to hear. And I think it helps whenever a devotee departs, that we can speak about the devotee. It's purifying, and it's also allowing us to allow that devotee to move on. It's a way of sending them in an auspicious way to their next destination. So this has been very valuable for me. So I wish you all a very nice week, and I wish you all to stay well, keep well. I should say, I want to say this also, that this comes because my own doctor, Radha-pada Prabhu in Germany, just the last day or two has shared his deep frustration that devotees are not observing, they're not keeping the precautions that should be kept to avoid getting sick. Said in so many places, they're just thinking, well, we're all transcendental to this and so on. And also he's upset that devotees are not following his advice to take proper dosages of particular vitamins, especially vitamin D, he said. We really need to be taking vitamin D, as this can give our immune system strength in the case that we would contract this condition. So I'm just passing on his message in that regard.
Guru Maharaj, about vaccination, what do you think?
I think, why not? If somebody doesn't want to take it, that's up to them. But I don't see a problem. There's, I think there's more evidence that it can be protective than that it's not protective. And again, I'm simply following my doctor because what do I know? I can sit in front of the internet, you know, watching YouTube videos all day long, and they'll be telling me this, and then they'll tell me something else. And in the end of the day, I have to simply recognize I'm not an expert. And however much they may be experts or not, or presenting themselves as such, ultimately we have to take one person as authority whom we have faith in. So I have faith that this doctor is qualified, and he's honest. He says this is no guarantee of protection. And of course, it's not getting to the root of the problem by any means. The root of the problem is that we are all having material bodies, conditioned souls in the material world. And however much vaccination there's going to be, we're all subject to birth, old age, disease, and death. So if we're clear about that, and our main purpose is to serve the Lord, then we may take some precautions which are recommended. And we don't depend on them as, you know, absolute protection by any means, but they may help. Maybe not so much at all, because now so many mutants are coming, and who can keep up with them? But again, I'm just following what my doctor advises. Okay, on that somewhat mundane note, Hare Krishna. So again, thank you all. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Hari Hari Bol. Maharaj Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.